I'm going to try to make this a quick video. I can't do a quick video. I don't know, I try. First of all, something I've never said to anyone in counseling in all the years, nor to ever to a class of students in all the years. I'm going to say to you now, because you learn things through experience, not through reading them in books. If you have a warrant for something like a speeding ticket or something, never, ever, never tell anyone that you have a warrant. Keep that in your brain. Even your closest friend, because you don't know, friend today, tomorrow an enemy. Even your wife, because something can go wrong in relationships. And if you've got a warrant, you're going to be in jail. It gives power to people that shouldn't have the power. And I see this from experience, and I will at some point do a video on this whole fiasco when it plays itself out. But the bottom line is the guy was trying to steal this other guy's car. So he said the guy stole his wallet when, of course, the wallet was in his pocket, so it really wasn't stolen. It used to be that was called filing a false police report. But he knew that the guy had a warrant, and he knew the guy had no money for bail. So he knew for him to steal the car, he had to get rid of the guy. So he got rid of the guy with the county's help and with the police help. He's in jail. And I'm going to go bankrupt paying for the phone calls between the jail and my house because I'm trying to save his automobile. And I can't do anything because I'm not him. And he's in jail. And this other guy's just walking away with everything. It's a long story. But the bottom line is never, ever, never tell someone you have a warrant. That's a stupid thing to do. There's no reason for anyone to know that. You should not say anything to anyone. That's just the reality, because bad things can happen. And the county doesn't give a damn. They're just following their laws that are made basically for them to make money. We've long since lost the concept of justice. As far as how it's going with my former ward, fill you in on that. It's not going well. I thought it was going well. We had a phone call, and there was a lot of Jesus loves you and that kind of thing, religious, biblical verses. Instead of conversing, it was biblical verses. I know the Bible really more than he does, but I put up with all that. I tried to tell him I'm sick and I need you. I don't know if he heard those words. He did at one point say he forgave me. He also said that he loved me, and that was very meaningful to me. Not in a dirty sense. Come on, give me a break here. You could use the word love. It's just a four-letter word. It has a lot of different meanings, but in this way, I mean father-son type love. Okay, so we don't get any more rumors. There's enough of those going around. I guess the thing was, with all the text messages, he gave me 30-some text messages, and every other one of them towards the end was, come to church with me. And the truth here is, as far as I'm concerned, I can't do it, because this church he goes to comes from the South. Nothing against Southerners. I have friends that are Southerners. But none of the ministers I go to talk like they're on the CB radio. That's not the reason. The reason is, it's just not Christ-like. I mean, I pray, Jesus, I'm sick. I need help. I do pray. Sometimes I do. Though one doesn't get off the cross, If God's given me this, it's that thing of thy will be done. So I'm letting that happen. But I don't expect Jesus to come knocking at the door and saying, I'm here to console you. I'm here to help you get rid of all the problems and the people that are stealing from you. And I'm going to make sure that you have food in the refrigerator, and I'm going to help you so you don't get lost in your RV. I could stop by once a month and see if you're still around. See, Jesus doesn't do that kind of thing. People do that kind of thing. That's what Christianity's about. So it lacks the essence of Christianity. And I've given thought, once the Catholic Church is teaching now that there's two forms of original sin, which goes against everything that I have ever been taught. I mean, you have one original sin. Baptism removes that sin. But we've added this other sin now of this matter of choice and all this kind of thing. The church says it's not a matter of choice. God makes you that way. Well, presto, we have two original sins. And I can't go with that. So I'm kind of at a loss. I was going to go back and join the Quakers because during the Vietnam War I was a pacifist. I'm still a pacifist. The American Friends Service Committee was a pacifist organization, so we helped people that were having trouble with selective service in the draft. And I've never been more dedicated to anything because I believe in living in a free country and I want to keep it free, and a draft is not connected with a free country at all. That's connected with Nazis and communists and things, not a free country. Because you can't call yourself a free country if you have a draft. If you're supposed to go and kill for corporations, that's wrong. It's probably sinful, too. But anyway, that's an aside. We won't go there, right? Anyway, I thought, what do? I'd like to join the Quakers, but today I found the Quaker channel here on the internet, and I went to some young guy in there talking, oh my God, I would have thought he was one of those evangelicals. Hellfire and brimstone. Quakers were a religion that believed in love one another. That's where a lot of my ideas come from, is the Quakers and St. Francis of Assisi, when I mingled the two together. So I'm thinking from a legal standpoint, one should start a church. Yet, I don't want to start a church. What I'd like to do, though, is just say, think maybe someday my boy will look at one of these videos. He doesn't look at my stuff, but if he did, I would love to tell him, and I'll tell all of you. If I belonged to a church today, that church would follow the 11 commandments and the words of Christ and ignore everything else. Because if the laws that God gave us himself, those 11 commandments, if those laws are not sufficient for our salvation, we're doomed. So we give great care to following each of those commandments to the letter. Now, see, it's very hard. No church has the nerve to do that because they don't want a commandment that says thou shalt not kill, because they want to justify killing. It says thou shalt not kill. And I hear these people say, well, see, if you shoot them in a war and you love them, then it's not a sin. Bull. The commandment says thou shalt not kill, and that would be there. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Ooh, let's analyze that. How about honor thy father and thy mother? These commandments say it all. The words of Christ were always compassionate. He never shunned from the sinner. There was no shunning within the apostles. None. They didn't terminate anybody. Jesus felt everybody. He chose prostitutes, thieves, even politicians as his friends. He served a good example for us. We can't go wrong. So I look for that in the church. But I don't need it. I've got it. I've got it. It's within me. It's within you. If somebody asks, what church do you belong to? I follow the commandments. Do you need more? Men, even I, as perfect as I am, I'm influenced by events and things in my life that may not apply to someone else's life. Everybody knows in their head what's right and what's wrong. It's just in there. God does that kind of thing. And then buy a Kindle. I have a Kindle. Do some research. Look up abomination. Type it in. Look at all the verses and what's an abomination to God. Next, look up love one another. Put that phrase in and look at that. Compare the two. Which one's logical? Which one makes sense? If you'll excuse me.